So, hello. I promised everyone a video on how Pearl Harbor could have been staged and what I think. And here it is. So, for those of you who don't know, Pearl Harbor, the Japanese attacked a U.S. naval base, and then we went to war with both Germany and Japan. So, before we get into if Pearl Harbor was staged, we have to look at the back history. So, World War II had been raging on for 2 years by then. Germany had taken over most of Europe and was almost at Moscow, but they'd taken over Paris and France and almost all of Europe. So they could have just kept going. They just didn't take England, but they could have. Hitler decided against it because Churchill was bombing Berlin and he didn't like that, so he started bombing London. So Germany had taken over most of Europe. And Japan had taken over most of the Pacific. In fact, they were reaching Australia and even India. They were almost about to reach there, so and there was no sight of them losing. And they wanted to take over stuff such as Guam, but Guam belonged to America, and they stood no chance against the American Navy. So they thought, what if they destroy the American Navy before they go to war with America? So they decided to bomb Pearl Harbor and destroy our Navy before we can go to Japan. But, so they did that. They killed like 2,500 people. And, so based on that, it seems like it's not staged, but there was a few things that are sus about it. A, there were 0 aircraft carriers at Pearl Harbor. Like, typically there would be a few, but there was none of them. Also, the Japanese didn't destroy any naval repair yards or, like, good ships. So there was a lot of stuff that the Japanese didn't destroy, which they definitely could have. And then the U.S. Navy was up and running in a few days. And so Pearl Harbor hadn't really been that effective, and it could have been way more effective, but the Japanese just didn't bomb everything. And then FDR went to Congress declaring that they had to declare war on Japan and Germany, and they did. So, another reason why people think it could have been staged, it looked like Japan and Germany were about to take over the entire continent of Eurasia. And once they have that entire continent, I think they could make an American invasion if they do it on both fronts. If Japan came from the Pacific and Germany came from the Atlantic, I think they could make a great American invasion. Maybe they do it with South America, I don't know. But if FDR and America got involved earlier, then Hitler and whoever the Japanese emperor was wouldn't be able to take over the entire continent, and then they could push them back into Japan and Germany sooner, right? So that would make sense, you know? And another thing why I think FDR could have staged it was FDR's hatred towards the Japanese people. FDR was a big racist when it came to the Japanese people. That's why he sent them to internment camps. And I think he was like, wait a minute, if people hate the Japanese, I don't like the Japanese. People could hate the Japanese more if I blame them on Pearl Harbor. And then he did effectively. So I actually think, I don't think it was staged, but I think there's a good chance that it could have been staged. Yeah, just thought I'd throw out that quick video. If there's anything missing, leave it in the comments.